to ApollyCon at 2024, and today I am here to talk about my experience. That sounded so ominous. It really wasn't. I didn't mean it to be. Hi, I'm Brie. Welcome to 4 Paws in a Book. I make bookish videos over here on my little corner of the internet, so if that's something you're interested in, make sure that you hit the subscribe button down below. There are some highs and some lows to ApollyCon, and I do want to talk about it. I also have my haul for you today, so we're going to talk about some of the experiences, some of the lessons learned, and then we're going to talk about the books that I brought home, because I did bring home a few. So ApollyCon, if you don't know, is the romance book convention that takes place in Washington, D.C., and it's run by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and there's a lot of like fantasy romance and like contemporary and historical romance authors that are there. There were 2 days of panels and then a day of signing where you got to walk around the different booths and meet the authors, and that was really cool. It's the first book event that I've done since BookCon 2019, so before COVID, and obviously things have changed in the years since then, and I feel like this was a really different experience as an attendee than BookCon was for a myriad of different reasons, but let's discuss. First off, let's talk about how to get tickets, because I think that was the first thing that was a little bit of a hiccup, a little bit difficult. There are 15,000 people in the Facebook group trying to get tickets. There were roughly 1,500 tickets. So if you do the math, it's not great odds that you're going to get tickets. After the chaos that was Reader's Day Denver, I'm really glad that they limited the amount of people that were here, because even though we had stupid long lines, it could have been so much worse. The event was like organized well in terms of like crowd control.
Something that could not be said for Reader's Day Denver.
However, getting tickets was really, really hard to do. So it was done through Eventbrite, and it was done, I think, a year ago. I want to say it was like June of 2023 that we bought these tickets for the convention that happened at the end of April. There were 3 tiers of tickets, so you could get Primal, Titan, and then Deity. And like the Primals came with like everything. You got these extra events that you could get to go to. Titan also had these like swag bags and stuff like that. And then Deity, it was like basically just the signing. If you got the Deity, you could also add on your like panel pass to go for the other 2 days, which I was able to do, but I really wanted to get a Primal or Titan pass. Those things sold out in like 35 seconds. They were so fast, and like you would have one in your cart and then it would take it out of your cart. There was something wrong with Eventbrite or something, I don't know, but it kept throwing error messages and it was so stressful. Like my Apple Watch was like, your heart rate is high right now. And I was like,
I know! Thank you!
So I was able to snag a Deity pass, but let me tell you, like they sold out in 4 minutes. Like all of their tickets were sold out in 4 minutes. So if you weren't one of the absolutely just like lucky ones to get these tickets, it was the Hunger Games out there. I actually think it was easier to get Taylor Swift tickets than it was to get ApollyCon tickets. And that's probably saying something. So that was the chaos of buying the tickets. I was a little bit upset because they had a huge author list, and as we went on and as we got closer to the event, more and more authors kind of started dropping out. And I know that that happens. It's not really like, I'm not upset at the authors for dropping out. Obviously, like Emily McIntyre was supposed to be there and then she got cancer. I'm not upset that that happened. It's just kind of a bummer that when you buy your tickets a year out, obviously life is going to happen for some authors, and so there were some that you know, they couldn't make it, and that happened. What I wish that ApollyCon would have done was had more transparency. I feel like they kind of just like slid it under the rug when authors weren't going to be there. They would just like update the website instead of like saying like, oh, you know, making an announcement, so-and-so can't make it. It was just like their name, their hyperlink was no longer on the website. So you had to do a lot of research for yourself. And that was kind of a bummer, because like I had done some ApollyCon like taste test vlogs, and then like come to find out the authors that I had done those videos for were not even there. So love that for me. Other than that, leading up to the event, other than like I would have loved to have more transparency with the events that were happening and things like that, I don't think there was any other issue than that. People trying to get the In Search Of tickets though, that were like, oh, you know, oh, I can't make it anymore, so I have this ticket to sell. 2 minutes those posts would be up and there would be like 500 comments. So it was so hard to get a ticket. And while I know that that's always going to be an issue because you can't increase your ticket size to the amount that like people want, because otherwise you're just gonna end up with really long lines and you're not gonna be able to see the authors that you want. There's like a struggle there, because at the same time, like, who knows if you're gonna get tickets the next year. Now let's talk about once we got to the event. Like I said, I think that the staff and the volunteers did a great job corralling people. The lines were very well organized. They had, you know, tape on the floor that did the serpentine. Everything was very well organized in that manner. And anything that ApollyCon was sponsoring, I think was handled really well. So Thursday we had our first panels. There was a couple of hours dedicated to registration. We actually got registered really quickly, and then we were able to go and get some food and some coffee. The hotel being basically the only place that you could get food without having to like actually leave the hotel and like pay for parking again or walk across the harbor. That was a choice because like I bought a poke bowl one day and it was like $20. It was ridiculous, and you had to basically like eat and run because you had to go get back in line. But I digress. There was, you know, we at least had a Starbucks. Did it take 30 minutes to get a drink? Yes, but we had a Starbucks. So we got registered, and as someone who got a deity and a panel pass, I did get one book for free there. The Titans of the Primals, they got these huge swag bags, which was really cool. I would have loved to have one, but you know, apparently I can't buy a ticket in 35 seconds. It's fine. I will say that being a deity the entire weekend felt like being an afterthought, which was really frustrating, as some of the volunteers was like, oh, Titans, Primal's coming.
Oh, you're a deity. Are you even supposed to be here?
And it was like, not the greatest feeling in the whole world, because like you already have imposter syndrome meeting these authors and these big influencers. You already have this huge imposter syndrome, and to be like, yeah, I just have a little wristband. It wasn't a great feeling, but I did get a great book. I'll show you this now. So we're just incorporating a haul into our conversation here. So I got this beautiful edition of A Fire in the Flesh. No, yeah, A Fire in the Flesh. This is one of the From Blood and Ash books. I don't know which one, but it's really, really gorgeous. It's got like these, it doesn't have a dust jacket, but it has these like foiling on it. It has these really pretty stained edges. And then like, look at this. It's so, so gorgeous. I did not go and get her books signed because her line was really long and there were other people I wanted to see in that room. So I went and got hers stamped. Anyways, that was the gift for having the panel pass. And then I went to a couple of panels that day, mostly about like romantasy and cliffhangers. And it was just like a bunch of different authors that were talking, and it was fun to like hear them talk about their books. And I feel like those panels were how I found a lot of new authors and like wanted to read their books immediately. For example, on Friday, I went to the Queerly Beloved panel with a bunch of queer authors, and they were talking about their books. And the moderator asked at the very beginning, like, sell me your book in an elevator pitch. And one of the authors, her name is Heather Nix, and she said, it's a failed D&D campaign with a lot of lesbians. And I was like, say less, right? So I promptly left that panel at the end of it, obviously not in the middle, but I left the panel at the end and went into the little Barnes & Noble that was there, and I bought it. I bought this. It's called Woodborne. As a dark force spreads across the continent, can Melwyn's gifts and Cicerine's developing power stand against the threat facing them all? The line between good and evil is tested as the continent prepares for an epic battle. Sounds so good. I'm so glad that I picked it up, and then I was able to get it signed for on Saturday. But anyways, that was one of the panels that I went to. So Friday, I went to 3 panels. The first one was put on by a bunch of different publishers, and it was basically like how to get ARCs, how to get review copies, basically what they're looking for in ARC reviewers and influencer teams and stuff like that. I think that was really informative as a content creator. Then we went to the Bookfluencer panel. This one I don't think was as informative for me specifically, because most of the people on the panel were on TikTok and Instagram. No one was on YouTube. In fact, I don't think any of the book influencer or the Apolly influencers were on YouTube or as their main platform, which is really sad. And it was kind of one of these like sad moments where I'm seeing that, like, is BookTube dying? And I know that it's not, but like when you're there around so many people with TikToks, that are like, oh, this only got 1,000 views, this only got 5,000 views, and I'm like, I'd kill for that. I don't know, it was an interesting, another like moment of imposter syndrome. But also, you know, TikTok's gonna be banned, so I'm just gonna stay over here on YouTube. Then I went to that Queerly Beloved panel. This one was my favorite panel of the 2 days. It was so good. There were so many good authors there, and it was just a fun time. The audience was like really interactive, and it was just like a big party. We were just like chilling, and it was great. Both evenings there was a shopping event that you could go to. These were not run by ApollyCon, they were vendor sponsored events. So the first one was put on by Bookish Box, and the second one was put on by Mystic Box. So the first night was Bookish Box. I left my panel and I was like, oh, you know, not thinking that there was going to be a huge line. I was like, I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to go and get in line in here and, you know, get one of these really cool boxes. I stood in line for 2.5 hours as we like wound our way through little hallways. Almost passed out because it was so hot in there, and I didn't think like, hey, I should probably get some food, because, you know, I was like thinking I would just walk in and I would get a book, and I don't know what I was thinking because it's a con, of course there's lines. Anyway, I get to almost the front of the line and they come out and they say, all of our books are sold, so bye. So that was really, really a big bummer, because it was like, if you knew how many people were going to be there, why didn't you bring enough inventory? Or at the same time, why didn't you like allow us to order and then you could ship it to us, right? I feel like that would have been fine. Was it on me to make sure that like I pre-ordered stuff, and I should have done that in the first place? Yes, but I didn't. So it is what it is. Also, I didn't know until I got there that there was an ApollyCon attendee Facebook group, that I probably would have learned a lot more of these things. Rookie mistake. The second night I was smart, okay? Because during the afternoon, the Titans and the Primals got a private signing, and they could go in to the convention halls and get their books signed and purchase things and stuff like that. The deities were not allowed in there. So I was smart, and I was like, listen, while everyone else that has one of those special tickets is gonna be in their signings, getting their Rebecca Yarros and their Jennifer Armentrout and everything else, I am gonna sit at the front of the Mystic Box line. So I took my ebook and I sat down at where the line was probably going to end up for 3.5 hours. I made some great friends because there were some other deities that had the same idea as me, and it was good that I did that, because they actually ended up losing like 40 boxes of books, and so there was very few books for people to buy. I believe only about 50 or 60 people got books. I was number like 6, so I got 2 books from Mystic Box. So I'm going to show those to you. I'm very excited about them, and then I did get them signed the next day. So the first one is The Order of Scorpions by Ivy Asher. Look how gorgeous this is. This, like, the sword on the edge, the moon phases. It's so, so pretty. Look at this. It's that gold foiling. It's not even like coming across super well on camera, but like, how gorgeous is that? Like, I got it signed by her. There's like artwork in the book. It's gorgeous. I'm so, so excited about this one. Do I know what it's about? Nope, don't care. Because you were literally given like 30 seconds. They were like, which book do you want? And I was like, that one? Sure. And then the one that I knew about, just because I had heard other people talking about it, I haven't read it yet, but I also got The Crown of Oaths and Curses by J. Brie. This is another one that's like just, it's so, so pretty. It's got that like green sprayed edges. The naked hardcover is so, so pretty. Oh, I didn't even show you the naked hardcover on this one. This one's absolutely stunning because it's white with this, like, look at that. Like, what? So gorgeous. Like, prized possessions here right now. The amount of bubble wrap I put on these, like, yeah, this one has like this other reversible dust jacket. That's the word that I'm trying to find. And then got this one signed as well, and it also has some pictures on the chapter titles. It's just, they're stunning. But listen, I waited for 3.5 hours for these things and did not I was like budding at the beginning. Like we were, once the line started, and then some people were like coming out and like starting to get in line. They got in line at the front. We're like, no, the line is back there. Because we had all been like sitting there all day. So that was Friday. I was happy with that. Like while Thursday pissed me off, Friday was like redeeming. Even though I had to sit in line for 3.5 hours, it was fine. I redeemed it. So then we had Saturday. So there was a Barnes and Noble that was like a pop-up there that you were able to get some books, and then you got to go in and like talk to the authors and get them signed and stuff like that. Let me show you a couple of things that I got. I did get 2 books from friends that did not want the books that were in their Primal or no Titan bag. So I got the new Sierra Simone book. This is a sequel to Salt Kiss. And this comes out in June, but it's the arc of it. So I'm very, very excited about this one. And I did get it signed. Did I get it signed? I did. I did. So I got that. And then also the ApollyCon exclusive of the Crown of Gilded Bones. I have the hardcover of this one, but I don't know. This is, I also really like, we love a floppy paperback. And then at the Barnes & Noble, I bought a couple of things. So I really wanted something that said ApollyCon. So she had Half-Blood, the Covenant series. I think this is her YA series, if I remember correctly, but it has the ApollyCon stamp on it. And it's, again, gorgeous. And I got it stamped. So, got this one at Barnes & Noble. Sophie Lark was there and she was signing, and also had the Sinner's Duet Omnibus. So this is There Are No Saints and There Is No Devil together. And it's in this like red and black, and it's so gorgeous. And then I got the Woodmorn there as well. And I also picked up a copy of the Book of Azrael. I'm very curious about this one. Like I'm intrigued. So many people have talked about this one. It's been hit or miss for a lot of people, but I wanted to pick it up, and we'll see what happens. Then we went and talked to the authors. So there were 2 different rooms, like big exhibit halls. And so if you were A, you started in one and moved to the other in the afternoon, and then vice versa for B. So we started upstairs and walked through those. I got to meet Rebecca Yaros, and she is a sweetheart. And like, let me tell you, her team has got signings down to a T. But like also when you're sitting down with her, you feel important, which I think is really important, and something that a lot of authors like forget sometimes when you get really big. But yeah, she's a sweetheart. I met Sierra Simone, which was like the highlight of my weekend. And I got a couple of things signed by her. And then also she had this little short story about vampires. And I'm definitely saving this for probably Face Off weekend, because it's 60 pages. 62 pages. So we'll definitely be reading that then. I also won Minx by Sophie Lark. She had like a spinner wheel. Actually, technically Claire won this one, and I won an art print. She already had this book, so we swapped. So I don't know what this is, but you know, we love Sophie Lark. And then I did buy 2 event exclusive books that I'm really excited about, and I feel like are just absolutely gorgeous. The first one is Beneath Black Sails by Claire Sager. The original cover is also gorgeous, but then she's like, hey, we have this ApollyCon exclusive. And I was like, okay, love that. It's a pirate romance. Here's the thing. Pirates of the Caribbean, we love that movie. So we might love this too. I don't know. I didn't love her shifter romance, but maybe pirate romance is where it's at. And then I also got Drown the Sea by Alicia Kemp. This was another author that I met in one of the panels. Like, had never heard of her before. And when she sold her book, I was like, oh, this is interesting. This is a wide shoes romance that takes place in like the Mediterranean Sea. Also, Alicia is just the absolute sweetest. She's from New Zealand. She has 2 different wide shoes romances in their series. So I just bought the first one. I was good. I did not buy the whole series, even though I could have, but I only bought one. If I want to buy the rest, I can. It's fine. And then the last one I got was, so when we went in the afternoon, all the authors were like, I don't want to take this stuff home. So they started discounting their books. So I got Unbreaking by L.D. Waters. The author did this cover illustration and also all of the illustrations in the book. Like, how gorgeous is that? The hardcovers had like color illustrations in it, and I almost got one of those, but these were $9 and those were 30 something. So I was like, I've never tried the author before, so we're just gonna get the paperback right now. But this is about a woman who gets her happily ever after, like she gets her wish granted, and like then 500 years later, she's like, I don't really want this anymore. And so then she summons this demon or something to try and break the curse, or the wish, I guess, which became a curse. I don't know. It sounded really interesting, and the author was a sweetheart. She was just like really out there trying to sell her books. So anyway, that was my ApollyCon haul and experience, my thoughts on it. I don't know that I will try to do it again. I'm actually really curious to see what Steamy Lit is going to be like in August. Steamy Lit is more expensive. It was $300 a ticket versus the $100 that I spent for ApollyCon. So it's definitely more expensive, but I'll be really interested to see how that experience is compared to ApollyCon. Let me know, were you at ApollyCon, or are you curious and you want to go to ApollyCon next year? Let me know down in the comments below. If you're not feeling chatty, put a book stack emoji. And if you want to watch my ApollyCon vlog, I'm gonna have it up here in the corner. If you're new here and you have not yet subscribed, there's a little button that you can do so down below the video. If you'd like to hang out with me more, the links to my Instagram, Goodreads, Twitter, and my Patreon are linked in the description below. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!